Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Space Engineers Plus Me, episode 73. I'm Enigmius, and today we're building and mining. And building, not necessarily in that order. We were working on the station and we started running pretty low on steel plates. So I said, okay, well we're going to have to make a trip down somewhere to Mars or the moon and do some mining, mine up some iron, make some new steel plates, continue the build. And so that's what we did. We took the Spectre Omni down to the surface of the moon. I was hoping that maybe we would come across a platinum deposit, so at least I could mark it with the GPS, but we didn't. And that's fine. Like, it wasn't a priority thing that we were looking for. We did find some iron fairly quickly, and we set up one of our mining support outposts, which if you've seen those episodes where we set them up on the ice lake, they're basically a large cargo container and a reactor on the surface. And from the large cargo container, some conveyor tubes leading down into the mining hole, whatever you happen to be digging for, with a cargo container and a conveyor sorter on the end. The conveyor sorter takes everything out of the little cargo container and sends it up to the big one, so you don't have to spend so much time going up and down to offload. It saves an enormous amount of time, makes manual mining that much easier. But it was just a matter of time before it became apparent to me, as easy as the outpost was making the whole process, it was just taking too long for the amount that we needed. We needed to get down to the business of building our next mining ship. The difficulty that we had, and I mentioned this, the difficulty with the Atlas is that the Atlas only works really well on properly flat surfaces, like an ice lake, where it's as flat as you'll ever find it anywhere in the game. You can set the ship down on it, do the things that you need to do. You don't have gravity pulling things to the side like you would if you're on a slant. It works pretty well. We showed that off in the episodes where we featured the Atlas, but when we're talking about something that's not an even surface, that's when it gets a little complicated, because you can set down on foot and it feels flat because of the way everything works, and you build something on the surface and then you try to land a ship on it and you find out with the artificial horizon just how not flat it is. The Spectre Omni, its biggest weakness right now is that I only used small ion thrusters for the maneuvering thrusters for most of the directions, most of the different planes that you might want to maneuver along. It doesn't handle slow maneuvering on these kind of angles very well. It doesn't have enough juice to let the gyros hold it steady. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to land. So I decided it was now or never to get down to the business of building our new mining ship so that we can get down to these planets and actually extract things at the pace that will allow us to build as fast as we can build without having to worry about running out of materials. Pretty simple, straightforward goal. So we brought back enough iron to make probably in the neighborhood of 40,000 steel plates, and then we started on the Atlas Mark II, which, I mean, you may have thought we were looking at this angle so that you could see the station, and that's partially true, but also because it was concealing this surprise, the Atlas Mark II. Now, I actually parked the original Atlas beside it so that you can get a sense of the scale. This one's a little bit longer. It's not quite as wide yet. You never know. And it's if you were to take all of the lower stuff off of the Atlas, everything related to the wheels and mounting the wheels to the chassis, if you were to take all of those off, you would find that it would probably be pretty similar in height to this one by the time this one is done. So this is the Atlas Mark II, and you may have guessed already from looking at it that with this giant circular hole, we're going to be making a return to the rotating drill heads that we had so much success with in the past. I liked the whole idea of the ship going back and forth on the track on the Atlas. I don't regret that at all. There was a ton of stuff that we're able to learn how to automate different things out of that system, but in terms of micromanaging and being reliable so that we can walk away from it for a while and not have to worry about it just kind of going back and forth doing nothing, the rotating borehead, I think, is the way to go forward if we actually want to get stuff done. That having been said, talking again about landing on a level surface and having everything work the way that we want it to, first of all, we can't do the piston thing with the string of pistons. Even with all the things that have been done, they lock the pistons and do all that to protect them from flying apart. I don't really trust them. I can assure you there will be plenty of new opportunities for Clang to work his way onto this ship and cause catastrophic damage. We're going to take our chances. We're going to do a few interesting new things. but strings of pistons is one old thing that we can do away with. So we're going to have the rotating bore head, and then we're going to have a similar gantry system as to what we had on the Atlas in concept, set up a little bit differently, working slightly differently. The idea is we want to be able to do that, lower it as many times as you want, and as long as you've got enough materials to keep doing it, you can keep doing it kind of thing. As opposed to the pistons, it's actually a little bit more stable when you lower it yourself, but with a few modifications to that whole theme to take advantage of some of the things that worked and improve on some of the things that didn't work as well as I thought they would. So that's going to be the main drilling feature. And then we're going to have the front section is going to be where the bridge is, not surprisingly. But there's also going to be a lot of room for other things, and I haven't decided entirely what those other things might be yet. We could be using the front section here to stockpile hydrogen in tanks. That's possible. But we'll see. The important thing is we're going to have plenty of room to do what we need to do up front. And then in the back is where we're going to have all of our ore processing and assembly. Really simple, straightforward stuff. All the ore comes in, goes down here, goes through the refineries, goes through the arc furnaces. There's going to be assemblers there so that we can process into raw materials if we are components if we need them. And then we're also going to have the distribution system that we've been talking about. We showed off a number of videos ago so that we can parcel out little portions of materials to different machines, so we get a little bit of everything in all of the machines instead of one machine getting everything. So that's going to be kind of the goal, is to take advantage of the things that we've learned about that work to our benefit and get rid of the things that didn't work as well as we'd hoped they would. The end result will ideally be a ship that does not have wheels, can land in gravity wells and take off from them and get out of them without much difficulty, mine a hell of a lot of stuff, process it on board, carry it around as either ingots or components, and generally be a little bit more versatile than the Atlas right now, and possessing all of its strengths and none of its weaknesses. That's the design goal, but we'll see how it goes. There's only so much we can guarantee when we're this early in the design stage. Mostly I've just kind of been, I had this look in my mind for how I wanted this thing to kind of look. For lack of a better word, I wanted this sort of rounded nose. The Atlas has something similar. It's got sort of the rounded nose, but it's not as refined as this. This one's a little bit more refined in the rounding, and then it comes underneath. And then this specific shape, the kind of the curves and stuff, was something that I had in mind that I wanted to do, and it was nice to have a chance to sit down and just kind of block it out and get it pretty darn close to what I was hoping for. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to make the right decisions with the voxel universe to get curves to look curvy in the way that you wanted them to curve without, kind of having them look unintentionally blocky just because of the way the blocks go together. In this case, I'm reasonably satisfied with the way it turned out. And it's one of those things, I won't be finishing off the profile in the immediate future, so I can keep taking a look at it from time to time, and if I see a way to improve it, I will, and if not, then it'll stay the same and we'll be happy with it, because damn it, that's what we did. That's basically it. So that's what I've been working on, mining and getting this thing sort of started. The next episode, we're going to show progress here. We're probably going to be down on the surface of the moon again, only this time we won't be mining, we'll be testing some of the technology that we're going to be incorporating into the drill system. We need to get into a gravity situation in order to test it properly, otherwise, I mean, you can't do it in a non-gravity situation. But it's not super complex in terms of the design, but it's one of those things where it could just go horribly wrong. So next episode, we'll show you what that is. We'll get rid of all the mystery surrounding what it is and what it's for, and then we'll move on with this build and this one. We certainly have not in any way, shape, or form given up on the station. We're just looking at the materials that we have available and deciding that we need a ship that can do large-scale mining before we need a station that uses all the things that we get from large-scale mining. And that's basically the way that it's working out. If you want to be notified when I add those videos, of course, you can always subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on social media. Links for social media in the information box below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.